Has anybody got a match? Thanks. Now I can light an old gold and listen to the Sad Sack.
Broadcasting live from their bunker in Lawson, California, it's the Susan and Frank program.
You shouldn't even keep. There's absolutely no way. Welcome to the Susan and Frank program. My name is Josh. I'm filling in for Susan and Frank while they are off ice fishing in Manitoba. We wish them well. We hope they're having a great time. They'll hopefully be back with us next week. So today we have a show lined up for you. We have two special guests today. First of all, we're very excited to have three-time world champion duck caller Brad Allen on the program. Very excited to talk with Mr. Allen. And also, first up, we will be having Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life. Excited to chat with him. He's a good friend of mine. So our topic of the day is going to be social anxiety, something that I suffer from greatly myself. I know the pressures of, I know how much it can affect you in dozens and dozens of different situations every single day. Even if you don't leave your own house, it can affect you to a paralyzing degree. So we're going to be talking about social anxiety a bit. We are going to be talking about Titus's YouTube channel, The BrokeAss Guide to Life. And we'll, of course, be talking about this is a world that I personally don't know much about, but it is very exciting to me. We'll be talking with three-time world champion duck caller, Mr. Brad Allen is on the program. So we're going to go ahead and go into a quick commercial break here, and when we come back, we will talk with Mr. Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life. Stay with us.
To keep your dog in top condition, get your pet complete nutrition. Feed them sturdy, make them sturdy, happy, friendly, petty, birdie. Any dog can be a winner if he eats some sturdy dinner. Feed them sturdy, be sturdy, vet with thanks, insist on sturdy. Ask any dog who's tasted it, the doggy with the bit. You sturdy dinner, dog food is delicious. Get sturdy.
Hi, fellas.
Roy Rogers!
See, that's a pretty tricky hat, isn't it? Partners, how would you like to surprise your pals like that? Well, you can with my new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat. It's by Ideal. And here's how the Quick Shooter hat works. Just press this secret button right here, and a replica of an authentic Western pistol pops out and fires. It's your secret weapon, even when they think you're unarmed. So get Ideal's new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat at your favorite store today, and you'll always be ready for anything. Ask for Ideal's new Roy Rogers Quick Shooter hat.
And we have with us now, very excited, one of my favorite YouTubers. We have, his name is Titus. He is the BrokeAss Guide to Life. Welcome to the show, Titus.
Thank you, Josh.
Anyway, so let's jump right into it here. I have a few very important questions that have been on my mind that I've been wanting to get your input on. So, if you're willing.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of an interview format to start things off, but I do want to get into just some discussion. First of all, who the hell do you think you are?
That's a difficult question. I think philosophers have been trying to answer that one for years. And I don't know. You know, just me. It's the best answer I have. I guess, yeah. I guess I'm just a lazy person in the Western world. And, yeah.
Nice. I misheard you a moment ago when you said it's the best answer I have. I thought for a moment you were saying I'm the best dancer they have.
That would be good. If I could put that on my resume. Who the hell do you think you are? Well, I'm the best dancer they have. I'm the best goddamn dancer in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. I have this list of questions here that I was going to do, and now that we're here, it just seems absolutely freaking ridiculous. So I want to go right into actually about your YouTube channel. The BrokeAss Guide to Life, which I absolutely love. You know I love it, but I'm going to say it again. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's really, really good. And I did not realize until like more recently how much of the art and stuff you do as well. So I was wondering, like, what is your... I know you went to school and stuff for it, but what is your like background with art?
Well, I mean, just like anyone, I sort of drew as a kid, but I didn't... It wasn't until I discovered Photoshop that I really, things came together, because every time I had to deal with sort of real media, I was just way too messy, and I would start with something good, but I'd screw it up and then smudge it and then erase it, and it would be horrible, and I have to throw it out. So I never got really far until this sort of really beautiful, clean way of doing things showed up with this idea of layers, that I could try something else out, and if I didn't like it, I could just get rid of it. And so that sort of took me on a path. At the time, I was working a job in construction, and I had gone completely away from doing anything artistic at that point. But I just started fucking around in Photoshop, and then I decided to try to go back to school for illustration.
Oh wow! So Photoshop actually got you back into school? That's
yeah, it did. Yeah, I didn't, because I didn't think I had a career as an illustrator. But when I started fucking around with Photoshop, I really kind of understood things, and I thought I could do things that wouldn't be possible if I had to do it with pencils and paper and paint and that kind of thing.
That's awesome. That's actually not, I didn't go to school for it or get awesome or do anything with it really, but the similar sort of experience with me, except it wasn't Photoshop. It was like mine is lame. Like Photoshop is what you use to make art, but mine is like the really lame version of that. You know, the goddamn app Draw Something. Yeah, so Draw Something 2, which actually they shut down, which is a goddamn shame, but that's nothing that needs to be discussed right now. But it was actually a pretty decent little digital art platform thing, and I got that, and it like really clicked with me for some reason. I started doing it, and I ended up sitting like out in the shack on my back porch for like 6 hours at a time. This is before my kid was born. Like the entire 9 months of my girlfriend's pregnancy, I was sitting out in the shack doing Draw Something 2. And it's like, that thing about layers that you said, that really clicked, because the exact same thing happened to me. I always drew comics and shit growing up, but any serious attempt at art, I even remember that, seeing the eraser marks all over and just being like, ugh, I can't do this. But the layers, it was a beautiful kind of moment that clicked in my head. So I completely understand what you mean there. I wish I had done something a little more productive with it than draw pictures of Ninja Turtles on an app that got shut down. But
Ninja Turtles, that was like the first thing I remember. Like, I figured out a formula for drawing the Ninja Turtles. Like, I could go through it. I'd start with the circles and then add different parts. That was a big moment for me. Ninja Turtles, yeah. Me
too, actually. And remembering like because other things I would need to reference constantly or not be able to draw them in a different pose. I had a lot of problem with poses. Like most of my comics, they were just standing there with their arms, straight out on their sides and stuff like that. But the Turtles, and I remember like their shoulder pads or, like the elbow pads and stuff that they wear. Learning how to draw the contours of those and lines and stuff really helped me learn a lot about artistic theory or whatever, thinking in the mindset of how to actually draw something realistically. Ninja Turtles did it for me as well.
Yeah, it's pretty seminal, I think, for in a lot of ways, Ninja Turtles. One day I think it's going to be appreciated in a historical context of how much that changed the world, Ninja Turtles.
I think so too. It's
I rewatched the first movie that they did, with the live action kind of they did the animatronics in the face. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I was amazed at how fucking good it was. There were some real emotional moments that I was not expecting that to sneak up on me.
Yeah, that's a good movie. The two sequels are corny as hell. But that first one is really good, actually.
It is. It's pretty fucking solid.
Did you know that the turtles in that are Jim Henson? While he was still alive, actually. It's before he passed away. He was, like, directly involved, I think.
That doesn't surprise me, because anytime something amazing like that happens, he's usually somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, though, I found out it was, like... It may still have this... this kind of thing where it was the most successful independent film of all time. It was actually an independent film.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird to me, but because we think of indie films in a certain way.
Yeah.
We're not expecting fucking Ninja Turtles, especially with the new one and the Michael Bay produced fiasco that was.
Oh my god. You know, the best parts of that movie, I mean, they were all best. I use that term lightly. But the least worst parts of that movie were actually the parts with the turtles interacting with each other and talking back and forth. I think they nailed it. They nailed it.
It was good. That part, those parts were amazing. The problem is that, like, there's no logic in that movie. Just any continuity, it's just got so many problems in that department. They'll, like, introduce a character and then you'll never see her again.
Yeah.
Like, all these things just never get resolved.
That's... I don't know. That movie. The trailer...
I think they changed a lot in post-production. It has that feeling of a movie that was supposed to be one thing and then got really sort of changed and reshot into something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. The trailer for the sequel to it actually is really good.
Really? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you should look it up. It has Bebop and Rocksteady in it.
I think I will have to keep watching the Ninja Turtle movies just because, I mean, it was such an experience to watch that movie. I thought the worst part would be that, like, I had a certain nostalgia for the old Ninja Turtles, and I would hate it because of that. But I really got over that really quick and started hating it for a whole other bunch of reasons.
Exactly. It was just an awful movie.
Yeah.
On its own. It didn't need any connection to the previous one to be awful.
No, it really didn't.
Alright, so, we got into Ninja Turtles pretty deeply there. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, me neither, but, get me started on Ninja Turtles. Shit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut out here for a moment for a commercial, so we'll be right back with Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life, and then later on, of course, we've got 3-time world champion duck caller Brad Allen, so we're excited about that.
Everybody's talking Tempo, the new filter cigarette.
Far more charcoal, far more charcoal.
How does all that flavor get through all that charcoal in that new filter cigarette?
Tempo, the secret's in the structure of Tempo's all new filter. Try the new filter cigarette, Tempo.
Tempo brings you far more activated charcoal than in previous filter designs. The first bonded charcoal filter, a new kind of filter for a taste too good to miss. White Estron Filter 2. No health claim is made for Tempo. Only the promise of easy draw, smoother taste.
How does all that flavor get through all that charcoal in that new filter cigarette?
Tempo, the secret's in the structure of Tempo's all new filter. Try the new filter cigarette, Tempo.
Alright, so welcome back to the Susan and Frank program. We've got Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life here with us. Say hello, Titus.
Hello, Titus.
Now say goodbye. You're done. Thanks for coming. Just kidding.
Yoink. Yeah.
So we got into Ninja Turtles there, which is not where I intended that to go, but I'm glad it did. But I think we should probably move on from different... Oh, good lord, I can speak. Okay. Let's move on to kind of the big topic for the show today, which I was talking a little bit about on my own earlier, some social anxiety stuff. Now, actually, I came across this quote that it's not directly about social anxiety, but it's from Bill Bullard, who's a genius man. But I just want to go ahead and read this quote and then maybe talk a little bit about it and about some social anxiety issues and whatnot. But anyway, here is said quote. Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge. It requires no accountability, no understanding. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. It requires profound purpose larger than the self kind of understanding. So I saw that the other day, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I like it too, actually.
And like I said, it's not exactly about social anxiety, but to me, such issues are really kind of all connected, because calling it just social anxiety is just kind of part of a bubble that I have, and a lot of that is introspection stuff about like the human condition and how everything is pretty much judgmental. And I have a lot of struggle internally trying to figure out if that's just natural or if that really is taught as part of like the monetary based society that we live in. I don't know if being so judgmental really is natural or if it's like societal. What do you have any opinion or thoughts on?
Well, I mean, I would blame sort of capitalism for a lot of things, but I think in this case, it's something that we've had in different forms in our society for a really long time. I mean, you think of, we've used sort of religion and all sorts of things to enforce conformity on different societies and shaming people in certain ways to get them to behave in a certain way. I want to believe that it's something that we can get past and move more into empathy, more into understanding. But it is really something that you see, throughout the ages. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. It just seems that because everyone's perspective is of course always going to be their own and is completely unique person to person. We all see the world in totally different ways for our entire life, and we can never really know what anybody else is thinking or what anybody else is feeling. You really can't. And I swear to God I was going somewhere with this. Jesus Christ.
Oh really? I was riveted. I was just...
Oh, the train just, it didn't even go off the tracks, it just fucking vanished. Oh, God damn it.
We'll fix it in editing. We'll just...
No, I'm committed now. I am committed to the struggle. The struggle shall remain and be respected. God damn it. Yeah, I don't know, man. But social anxiety is a bitch, though, right? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Like, I don't leave my house. I go to the grocery store. The grocery store is probably my biggest social event these days.
I can relate, yeah.
Like, there's a lady who lives next door who has a kid about the same age as my daughter, and we see them when we go out to go for a walk sometimes. Mm-hmm. And we chat for about 15 minutes. That's my best friend. I don't know. It didn't used to be so bad when I was a teenager, early 20s. I was outgoing. I liked being the center of attention. In fact, I was uncomfortable if I wasn't. Like if I was just if somebody else was the one being funny or being talked to a lot, it made me feel weird. But now it's just the complete opposite.
I've sort of been wondering if it is at all possible to go from being an extroverted person to an introverted person. And a lot of people have told me that it's not like that. It's sort of a binary thing. But I feel like that's happened with me, where I used to love hanging out with people and couldn't get enough of it and didn't really have a lot of sort of alone time or thinking time. And then I sort of shifted completely, where there are people that there are sort of social situations that I can get into, and it's mainly just I have 2 friends and a brother that I can really connect with. But anything else, I just get really exhausted from really quickly, and I just want to go back to doing, working on something and getting away from that.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, I wonder with myself, I don't know if anyone else thinks this way, or if this is is something that you feel, but I oftentimes wonder if it is honestly that I don't want to be social anymore, or if I've just kind of been alone-ish for so long that I've convinced myself that that's what I want, as sort of a defense mechanism, sort of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I think I spent a lot of time struggling with that, whether it's something I actually want, or whether it's just I've convinced myself because I had it for so long and was sad and depressed that that is what I want. It's very difficult to sort that out for me.
Really, yeah. That, I can relate to that. I go through this thing where everything is going good and I feel like I've got a handle on it, and I'm slowly starting to build relationships, and I feel like everything's going in a great direction, and then I'll just sort of crash.
Oh, and just burn it to the fucking ground and never touch it again?
Yeah, and unplug, and just, not be able to get out of bed for weeks. And just, it's weird because depression is not like, it's not sadness. It's not the same thing. And I don't think a lot of people understand that unless they go through it, because they'll always be like, why are you depressed? And it's like, the fucking reason is I don't have a reason.
Yeah, it's a vacancy, not a sadness. That's how I feel about it.
That's a really good way of putting it, really. Vacancy. It's that emptiness. So, yeah, one thing I wonder is, I have it in a real bad way in terms of just trying to take on technology. Even just getting sort of a cell phone has been sort of a really stressful step for me. The sound of a phone ringing always sort of triggers something for me. But I sort of look at you, and you are really competent and good in the sort of social media realm. Do you feel like there's a bit of a disconnect, and it's easier to handle if you're dealing with like that, or am I reading it wrong?
Well, that's interesting to me that you say that, because I feel like I'm terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah. No, like horribly awkward and or annoying. No, I feel I'm just awful. That's awful at it. So I'm apparently good at engaging in these ways.
Every time I sort of, like, the other night when you were talking about your Instagram, and then I saw your Instagram, I was like, oh my god, I like, this is another thing that I need to do. And here he is, he's got followers, and he's got these great pictures, and he's sort of putting himself out there like this, and I feel like I'm juggling so many plates. I always drop one. And,
well, on that specifically, like the Instagram thing, that's really nothing. Actually, I want to take a step back. The cell phone thing, I completely agree. And it's actually the same sort of thing I was talking about, whether I'm not sure if I actually dislike it, or if I'm just like want to be resistant to popular ideas about things. But I hate cell phones. I don't ever use one. I have one here. Those Instagram posts that you're talking about, that's just about the only thing I use my phone for, is I take pictures of my kid or my toys and I put them on there. I use about 20 minutes a month. Usually my daughter talks to my mom on the phone, but I myself use about 20 minutes a month. I text with only my girlfriend, and it's like, what time are you going to be home, or can you get milk? and that's all I use the damn thing for. I hate going out and seeing people just looking down at their phones and ignoring the world. I'm super resistant to that. And I don't know, I basically quit Facebook. I've got all of, I think, 30 people on my Facebook, and I don't know, I'm rambling, but
it's so weird. Yeah, the only reason I got back into Facebook, I was just dead on it for so long, was I said, I have to find some way to get my videos out. And so I was like, okay, maybe Facebook, I don't know. That I always feel so awkward. I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing whenever I make a Facebook post or a Twitter post. I feel like there's this like these rules that everybody else understands, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, okay, I like this and retweet that, and should I comment on something? I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that. And this may not make sense, but I just kind of had a realization as to how I deal with it, because you said I'm good at it or appear to feel natural with it. And these two things don't seem the same at all, but I realized that the way I approach them in my mind is exactly the same. I haven't worked in a few years now, since a little before the kid was around, but when I did, I worked mainly in call centers, and one of the times I was not a supervisor, but I took supervisor calls. So when somebody asked for a supervisor, there was a team of like 10 of us who took those calls and said that we were supervisors, but we weren't. But that's all we did. But doing that and talking to people who were angry and had legitimate issues and shit for 10 hours a day, and that was all I did, that kind of taught me how to be professional and friendly and deliver a message in a short, concise, clear way.
Right.
And I guess I've just applied that same sort of thing to the Twitter and whatnot when I use it.
That makes sense, actually. I was in retail for a really long time, and I went out of it for a while, and then I, recently have been sort of just doing it part-time, and I found that I lost a lot of those skills and abilities. And the moment I realized it was when there was like a customer buying something from me, and they told me a joke that I didn't find funny, and instead of just politely laughing, I just was staring at them. And I was like, I used to be good at this, but I can't even fake it anymore.
That's a perfect example.
It drives them nuts too, because they're expecting you to be kind of a service person.
See, there is social anxiety in a nutshell right there. It's wanting to avoid that feeling, just ever.
Yeah.
Nope. I will take deadness over awkwardness. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's it. That is it in a nutshell for sure.
Oh. Yeah, so coming up later, I'll be interested to hear his input on this. Somebody who's so in the public eye. Later on, we're gonna have 3-time world champion duck caller Brad Allen on the program.
If he experiences social anxiety on any sort of level, because he hides it very well if he does.
Yeah, because that man is the definition of class and composure. Yeah. All right, so anyway, I'll be interested to hear what Brad Allen has to say about that, because he's in the public eye. I mean, he's a world champion. So, at any rate, I kind of want to step away from the social anxiety stuff, unless you had something on the tip of your tongue that you wanted to add.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Because we started out talking about your channel, the art, and then we kind of got into the Ninja Turtles and moved away from that, and I kind of forgot. But I wanted to kind of discuss your YouTube and what's going on with that. If you're not familiar, go check it out. It's BrokeAss Guide to Life. It's hilarious. This guy makes animations, does weird ass free games with hilarious kind of commentary stuff over it. So I wanted to ask a few things, like, what is there one particular video that sticks out to you that you are really, really proud of? That I mean, I'm sure you were proud of them all, or you should be if you're not. But is there one that sticks out as kind of special, like a favorite?
I am sort of a negative person in my sort of thinking, so I have a few that stick out as things that I'm not proud of. But if I had to decide the one that I'm most proud of, it really is, and looking back on it now, I think I've changed and grown a lot, but it was kind of the catalyst for me to try incorporating a lot more animation. And so it was the Space Games episode
Oh, yeah.
Where I did the intro from 2001.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I sort of like was using sound effects and a lot more animation, and so that sort of put me on a path of thinking that of feeling a lot more confident about adding in animations and maybe a story to what was going on, rather than just talking about the game, or not talking really about the game at all, just making fun of the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. The new ones are amazing. So you said that you have some that you don't like. Are you including I'm curious, are you including any of the really recent ones in the batch of ones that you feel negatively about?
No. I feel pretty good about the recent ones, and I'm glad that you do as well, because I think I'm going into that direction more, of doing more animation and sort of the shorter animated videos. So I really enjoy doing that. But no, it was just a couple of times I've been pretty hard on trying to keep a schedule, because for the longest time I've struggled with trying to do something artistic, and I always just had this sort of perfectionist mindset, and I never got anything done. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time that I just said, okay, a schedule, you put out a video a week regardless. If you have to stay up all night, you're just going to get something out there, and just keep doing it. And so a couple of times I just sort of wasted a lot of time and ended up having to rush something, and I wasn't really happy with it in the end. But I've been a lot better about sort of scheduling what point I want to be with my video by the time I get to Fridays now. It used to be Wednesdays, and that helped too, just putting it later in the week. So I guess my goal going forward is to try to be consistent, to try to be different, and to try to just put quality over everything else, so that when somebody does find it, they can look through the old stuff, or maybe hit a playlist, and then start. There's not going to be something in the middle there that's going to just sort of trip them up and be like, well, why did he do that video? Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Anyway, that's the sort of dream that I'm trying to pursue right now.
They're all good. They're all, well put together. So I think in your case, what you're doing is you should keep doing it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. You also feel, I mean, now we're talking about YouTube, and this is a really deep subject for me, and this is our sort of first conversation about this, where we're just our voices. I'm just sort of wondering how you feel about the idea of being a YouTuber, because for me, it's just, I feel very sort of removed from what I think is the sort of community of YouTubers. And a lot of people sort of doing videos and reaction videos or whatever, they have like a hashtag that goes around and everybody does a video from that. It's just something I can never sort of be a part of, because of what it takes for me to do a video and what I want to be in those videos. And I also can't, it's like YouTube, I think it's weird because it's the idea is that it's you on the tube, and my idea is to have something that's a show, and I don't put my face in it. I'm not really myself on my YouTube channel. I do stuff with Opinionate This where I'm just Titus, but I had this idea of I wanted it to be a show, and I feel like knowing who I am would break the fourth wall on that. But I really don't have the answers, and I'm wondering how do you feel about YouTube, the YouTube culture? I guess we have a little niche with the sort of gaming, so what do you think about the whole thing?
Well, I completely agree. I feel completely removed from it. I don't understand that stuff. I don't understand how people find those tags, respond to them, collaborate, do all that stuff. I don't get it whatsoever. And there's a few levels to it. I don't get the YouTube specific part of it, but I also don't really... I grew up without the social media stuff, and I never really have adjusted to it. Despite the fact that I use a computer and the internet all the goddamn time, I use it in very specific kind of narrow ways that don't really lead me to understand to get the way that people are so outward about the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that I'm shy or held back or anything. It's just I watch these videos and I don't understand how someone can even act that way, let alone make a video and publish it about it. Not like saying it's I kind of feel embarrassed watching it.
Yes.
Like, I'm not judging them at all. I don't feel anything negative about that person, but at the same time, I just feel embarrassed and completely and utterly different from this person who is screaming into a microphone about God knows what. I don't feel any connection with that shit. I kind of struggle with what I'm doing it for, though. That's what was on the tip of my tongue. Like, I enjoy making the stuff. But I'm like, why am I trying to make money with this? I don't care about making money about this, but then I also really do. I'm conflicted, like, about my motivations for doing some of it. Like, I'm talking about being conflicted a lot. It's obvious how screwed up I am about stuff because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about anything. I don't know why I do anything.
The same way is that that struggle between, am I doing this for money? Well, yeah, I don't want to work a job anymore. I'd love to do this full time. It's all I think of, really. But am I good? Like, there's some things that people are doing in order to monetize their channel that I don't want to do that. I have this idea of what I want the show to be, and I'm pretty stuck on that. But then I also, flip-flop on that all the time. Sometimes just, what is the BrokeAss Guide to Life? What's the point of this?
Who knows? On that, I'll also be interested to get some input on that from 3-time world champion Doug Collar. Shit. I was so close.
When you suffer from irregularity and take mineral oil for relief, chances are that you get only halfway relief. You see, irregularity is frequently accompanied by acid indigestion, and when this is the case, you need a preparation that combines laxative action with antacid action to bring you thorough relief. Now, plain mineral oil can't do this, but a remarkable preparation called Haley's MO combines the correct proportions of pure mineral oil with the finest milk of magnesia. As a result, Haley's MO gives you thorough relief. Not only relieves irregularity, but acid upset as well. And Haley's MO is so gentle that it's frequently recommended for patients following delicate abdominal operations. When you see how much more Haley's MO does for you, you'll be amazed that it costs only about the same as high-grade mineral oil. You can identify Haley's M-O on the package.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life, and then after that, we'll, of course, be chatting with, very excited, 3-time world champion duck caller Brad Allen. And Titus, are you going to stick with us for the Brad Allen interview?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
I'm a huge fan. So
awesome. Okay, well, we will be right back.
This is Sandy Becker saying, keep cooking with Crisco. It's all vegetable. It's digestible.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out.
J-E-L-L. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. That's Jell-O.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jell-O pudding.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jell-O duck. Tapioca pudding, yes,
Alright, welcome back to the Susan and Frank program. Get with the program and get off my lawn. We're here with Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life. We've been chatting about life. We've been chatting about YouTube, art, all sorts of stuff. And I wanted to ask you, before we wrap up and welcome 3-time world champion duck caller Brad Allen onto the show, I want to talk a little bit about what your inspirations are, like in just art in general, or like on the video end of things, anything anything kind of that art side of things? Who are your your inspirations on that stuff?
Well, maybe I'll talk specifically about YouTube and what made me think that YouTube was a viable way of showing things.
Okay.
It was, have you ever seen the web series Duralius and Associates?
I have not. I have not even heard of that.
That was the first one where I felt like it was a cartoon show and they had voices on it, and it was sort of really funny in a lot of ways. And that was when I thought, okay, this is more than just people putting their faces on camera. It's actually just a platform to put videos up, and if you want to do that, you can do that. And I mean, there's the other ones that are kind of a little bit more like, I feel like everybody is on some degree is inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, definitely.
Anybody who's doing this, even if they don't know it, even if they don't know him, they're inspired by someone who was inspired by him.
Mm-hmm.
So, JonTron from the Game Grumps and his own show, JonTron, I really liked the sort of that idea of him, just reviewing any game or something, like a topic that he wanted to, and not just doing whatever the latest game was.
Yeah, when I discovered him, that was a major moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because now I feel like he's gone to a point where he's so produced that I don't really feel that connection anymore.
Yes, I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to bash him if you were about to talk about how great his new stuff is too. But yeah, I find it very difficult to watch his videos now. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it kind of sort of makes me feel bad about the state of YouTube, that it would require that much polish for you to think that you would put out a video on YouTube, because I part of the thing that I loved before was that there wasn't, the polish was there were cracks in the seams and you could see them, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, the laser beams coming out of the bird's eyes looked like shit, and I loved it.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel like when you produce something too much, you can lose a lot of that.
Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he's the forefront. He's the forerunner on producing something too much.
Yeah, JonTron went Michael Bay on us. God damn it, JonTron.
Just come back. Just lose half your people and get out of the studio and back into your house and just talk about video games again.
Yeah. Alright, Titus, and I want to keep this going, but we've already gone over on time, and unfortunately, we're going to have to push Brad Allen, our 3-time world champion duck caller. We have to apologize to Mr. Allen, because we are completely out of time. But I would like to have both of you guys back next week. You, if you can come, but Brad will definitely talk. Apologies to Brad. We appreciate you flying all the way out here, but we will definitely get you back in next week, Brad. And Titus from the BrokeAss Guide to Life, I want to thank you for being here, and I hope you can come back to the show sometime as well.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I will definitely be back. Yeah, my pleasure, Josh.
All right, well, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you next week on the Susan and Frank program. Susan and Frank should be back by then, but if not, I will be back here to fill in for them once again. So get with the program and get off my lawn. That's what Susan and Frank like to say. I know it doesn't mean much coming from a whippersnapper, but it's just the way they close out the program, so I figured I should do it as well. Fuck me.
Oh, that was great. We should do something like a 1, 2, 3 in case you have to use.
The background music for the Susan and Frank program is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 from Kevin MacLeod of Incomtech.com. Voice work in the introduction to the Susan and Frank program done by Johnny Katz. All other audio sources and samples are public domain sources.